This is the only tutorial you will ever have to watch about Lovable. At the end of this video, you will be able to replicate a 100 million a year SaaS business using only Lovable. I'll show you how to use Stripe, how to use AI inside Lovable, how to create a backend, everything. And to be honest, as a software developer myself, I feel a bit afraid of how good Lovable already is today and what it will be in the future because, it might take my job.
They took our jobs! Yeah, they're down, took our jobs!
Hey guys, now the first step, let's build. And what we want to build today is to copy a low-tech 100 million SaaS business. Why do I say low-tech? Because if it's a very high-tech business, like ChatGPT, for example, well, it's pretty difficult to copy with Lovable, right? So what we want to do is something pretty basic in terms of tech, but that works and that already has a product market fit. And in our case, we're going to copy motleyful.com or full.com, which is a stock advisory business where basically they choose picks of stocks in the market that outperform the market. And they've been doing pretty well in the last 20 years in terms of performance. We can see like they have a good stock advisory system, and the business is also doing pretty well because they're doing more than 100 million in revenue. So what we want to do today is copy this business, at least in terms of tech, in order to show, well, it's pretty easy to actually copy this kind of business now. So now what we want to do before actually asking ChatGPT to make ourselves a 1 million MRR SaaS business without end dashes and make no mistakes, of course, we want to prepare because we don't want to be the guy that is asking ChatGPT, Lovable, or all these AI system to build something that works from the start and make no mistakes without being precise. What we want to do here is basically to prepare before, don't go straight into Lovable, and make something very simple at first and add complexity step by step, right? So I made a little architecture in order for us to start with the prompting. What we want to do here, we want one user that go to a homepage that is actually a page where we're going to sell our stock picks or our service. Then log in. If the user doesn't have a subscription via Stripe, well, we have a paywall. If he does have a subscription, then we're going to a members page where we see all the stocks and all the different stats about these stocks. And all these stats and stocks are stored in a database. And then we have some portfolio stocks. Then we can add some more features based on that. But the idea is really simple. You have user system, you sign in, you have a database where you have the stocks, and then you're able, if you pay, you're able to see the stocks. If you don't pay, you see a paywall, right? That's pretty clear. That's pretty easy actually to implement, and that's what we're gonna do today. Let's dive in. So based on this architecture, I worked with ChatGPT here to basically create a prompt about all of what I just explained, and the only thing I'm gonna change in this prompt here is the tech stack, please, because Lovable is managing all the tech. We don't want to give orders about Lovable of what tech to use. Lovable is managing the tech. So please delete the tech stack part of the prompt, and also mention that the paywall, the slash members, and is accessible only if you paid. If you didn't pay, you are redirected to /paywall. Perfect. So now, after this little refactoring, we'll have all of this prompt that we'll simply copy paste to Lovable, right? So let's start. Here we have, this is the CSV of all the stocks. So basically, what I said just here is I'm going to give a CSV to Lovable of all the stocks. So I want to advise in my service. Of course, this is an hypothetical service. And I want Lovable to create a database about it. So here I already put the CSV here. Now I'll just copy paste the prompt into Lovable, right? Like so. It's perfect. And now it's launching the project. Perfect. So we can see here that we launched already the prompt. It's going to take a while, but basically we're going to wait a bit and it will completely launch the overall project. So the next thing we want to do while this is working, we can see here like it's already talking about the features, the design, etc. So we're good to go. Oh, enable cloud. So what is cloud is basically just the way for Lovable to manage the database and have a backend so have the database authentication system and potentially also add Stripe or LLM to your app. So what we're going to do, we're going to click hello here and we're going to let it build. So in order for my vision here to work, Stripe subscription, well, we need to have a Stripe account, right? And we need to have a Stripe key. In order to have a Stripe key here, I'll just like use this key here, and I'll just put it into my Lovable account when they will ask me to. And with that key, I'll be able to basically create products, but also like retain all of retrieve the data about the products on Stripe, retrieve the data about the subscribers on Stripe, all of that. So this key will permit us basically to interact with Stripe overall. And that's very, very important because without this key, well, we cannot actually set up a Stripe account.
A few moments later.
Okay, so now we have the first version of our website. And the first thing I want to do each time when I use that is basically use the ultimate SEO checklist I built in order to basically make our website a bit more SEO friendly. So we can be found on ChatGPT, on Google, and all the different search engine and AI systems out there. What we want to focus on right now is just make our homepage a bit more SEO friendly. So the step 2 here. And what I'm going to do is basically use the page here on the step 2, copy everything here like so, and basically ask Lovable there to please follow these steps on the home page to optimize the page for SEO. If you want to do the same using Lovable and all the AI tools out there, what you can do is go in the description in order to get the SEO checklist. And on this SEO checklist, you'll have all the checklist steps you can use in order to make your website and your AI app better in search engine optimization. So it will permit your app to actually be first and Google, ChatGPT mentions everywhere where people can search for your app. So that's very, very important. It's like only one of the steps here. So the step 2, which is on-page optimization. But then we can like work on all the other steps later, right? So if we go back to Lovable, it's still working. But basically what it's going to do is follow these steps here, which are first, optimize title tags. So what we want to do is have stock speeds that outperform the market, make something that is rich, that Google can actually understand here. So here it's working on the thing. Let's check how it works. Show all. It optimized. Let's see the code. You can see that it optimized the titles with adding meta description and adding a bunch of stuff in order to be way better in terms of SEO. So here it fixed a bunch of stuff in order to be way better in terms of SEO, so we can actually be mentioned later on ChatGPT, on Google, etc. We could even add more content to this page in order to do so. But guys, if you want to actually really work on your SEO, you can look at this ultimate SEO checklist for 2025. Now let's go back to actually building the database and Stripe, right?
A few moments later.
Hey guys, I'm back after a few minutes, and basically what happened is that I built the whole Lovable app from scratch, like this, without actually worrying too much on the design. I just let Lovable manage it all. And what I will do now is basically show you all the steps that I took in order to like create the whole app I presented you at the beginning, and show you how I debugged it and all the different features I added to it. Why I'm doing this like so is just because it takes lots of time to actually fix the things, because the AI takes a few minutes, and I'm not sure it's very relevant to show you all of that time while I'm basically waiting for the AI to work, right? So that's why I'm doing it backward. So what happened here is that first it asked me my Stripe API key, as I showed you before, and I gave it to it to the AI in order for my app to be connected to Stripe. And then what happened on Stripe is basically it created with the API key a product and price. So it created a product, Premium Stock Picks, access to our Premium Stock Picks stock portfolio that outperforms the market. Basically, this is what I asked him, right? And then it continued to actually build the product. And at some point, I had some little problems. When it finished building the product, I had some little problems. So what I did is basically I tested the overall thing, and then I gave a feedback about the product. So basically here, if I click sign out, if we go back to what I wanted, which is here, which is homepage, login out, has Stripe subscription, paywall, members page, etc. Basically, this is the only thing I have to test here. Is, okay, do I have a dashboard? In this case, yes, I do. Do I have a paywall? Yes, I do. Why? Is the paywall working? Yes, he's working, because if I'm signed out, I guess. Okay, so here I'm signed out. If I want to go to dashboard, well, I cannot. I need to actually create an account and subscribe, right? But here I see a little problem, is that when I signed out, well, it doesn't appear as signed out. But if I go to /out, apparently it seems I'm not signed out. So, for example, this is typically the thing I follow is, okay, I'm testing the app, I see a problem, and here my problem is that when I click sign out, I'm not signed out actually. So let's fix that. So, hey, when I click sign out, it seems I'm not really signed out because the button doesn't change to the button sign out doesn't change to sign in or sign up. Moreover, when I go to out, it directly redirects me to Slash instead of asking me to sign in /up, right? So this is typically the way I followed in order to debug. It's just like I'm testing, I explaining exactly what is the bug, and then I let Lovable manage the rest. It's really English based, not really technical based. Even if I'm a developer, it's basically how Lovable is doing. So what happened during like the whole debugging? Now I'll let the Lovable debug and explain you what happened before, right? So what happened is basically I used Cloud. So the Lovable Cloud is just the backend of Lovable that is permitting you to actually have a working app and have data, database, authentication, etc. And here you can see stocks, which is the stocks of my CSV. So that's perfect. We can see profiles, which is basically all the users that are registered to my app, so we can see mainly me. And on profiles, there is also the Stripe subscription data. So basically, okay, does this user have an active subscription, right? So do we need to show him the page that is the /member page with all the stocks, or do we need to show him the paywall? Basically, this is what the profiles will help you to do in terms of behavior. Here we have the user page. Basically, we are again saying this our users, but this is more of an analytics page in order to see, okay, the different signups over time. This is basically, yes, an analytics page. And then we have edge functions. And edge functions are basically the functions that I created in order to like check subscription and interact with Stripe, because this is the only thing I'm interacting with that is outside of my website and my system, right? I also just added AI usage that we will set up together. But yeah, that's it basically. We have also our secrets. So this is the thing we don't want to share. Basically here we have Stripe secret key. and Stripe secret key is the Stripe dashboard Stripe / API key that we see there, that I don't want to show you, of course. And here we have the logs that we won't use. So if we go back, we can see that, okay, it seems that like Lovable fixed the problem, which is the sign out problem. And now if I go to an account that already exists, so I'm going to sign in, I'm signed in, that's perfect. Here I'm signed in on Ben at starknet.id, which is my email. And if I go to dashboard, I can see the paywall. Now let's verify, should I actually see this paywall, right? Because if I have an active subscription, I shouldn't be able to see this paywall. And apparently here I have an active subscription, but I'm seeing the paywall, which is problematic. Probably it's because we have a little problem on our subscription, and our check subscription here basically is failing. We're gonna check why, and if we click here on the logs, odd session missing, okay. So here what we're gonna do is just copy this problem and then say the edge function check subscription doesn't work, and here is the log. Please also check the logs yourself to debug it and make it work. So here what happened again is basically I'm testing, I see a problem, and I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it by just like giving eventually the context to Lovable in order to debug as much as I can. Here, what it should be doing is me going to /members here, but I'm not going to /members just because the check subscription doesn't work when it should, right? And here is what it looks like in terms of design. So basically we can see the portfolio performance, total gain loss, etc., and all the stocks, right? This is what it should look like, and directly from the user's perspective when he's signing. But what happened here is that I see the paywall when I shouldn't, because we checked on the database, right? Profiles, the Ben at starknet ID, so this address as an active subscription, so should be directly redirected to the members page. So let's try again just to make sure. Okay. Now it seems to work. It seems that it already have fixed the problem. Well, let's try again with something that doesn't have the subscription. This account doesn't have the subscription, and here it works. So it already fixed the problem apparently, which is interesting because we don't see it here. Yes, we see already some edits, but yeah, it already fixed the problem, so that's perfect. So yeah, basically the whole tutorial is done here already. But what I want to do is to build more in front of you guys in order for you to understand, okay, what's the process in order to debug inside of Lovable, and what are the different features we can add. In terms of features, here I showed you pretty much everything. The last thing is the AI that I didn't check out yet, and the storage. I think what is the most important thing is probably the AI, because lots of people actually want to build AI usage inside their app. What can we do here in order to make sure we have an AI usage that actually works inside our app? Probably what we could do is to add, let's sign out. What we want to do is probably to add an AI feature inside of our dashboard. So it could be, for example, an AI chatbot saying where people will be able to actually use, to discuss about the fundamentals of the stocks, right? So let's ask Lovable about it. So please, in r/members page, add a chatbot after the table that use AI in order to help my users understand the stocks I choose for my portfolio. So it would be, for example, well, we'll see how it goes here from there. But basically, here we can see in the secrets we have a Lovable API key that I just said it before, and this Lovable API key is a way for us to use DII. And DII, probably what it will do is it will use credits directly from Lovable in order to use GPT, Gemini, etc. inside your app. So without actually going to GPT and get an API key, you can make an AI app inside Lovable and manage it all through Lovable, pay all the credits through Lovable, which is pretty cool. Now that's we're gonna let our Lovable work and come back with something that actually works. And what we want to do now is publish. So here, if I click to publish, I'm gonna go to this website address. I can add, of course, a custom domain. So I can either connect a domain so to something that is like a domain that I already own, or buy a domain. And here, probably what you want to do is first publish here. So let's publish. Yep, it's publishing, takes quite some time. We're good to go. So apparently we're published, but here now we can actually use like buy a domain inside Lovable, which we don't want to do, and connect the domain with other external tools. But this is not what we're going to do today. We just want to learn about Lovable. So here, if I click publish, it's already live. If I check my app, yes, it's live. Yes, it's here. And we see we still have the edit with Lovable here, but that's okay. I think we're good to go. We also have an image here. And yeah. Now, what we want to do is actually add my project to GitHub. So I'm going to connect my GitHub. So I have already a connected account, which is my personal GitHub account. We probably also want to connect an organization. I will connect my personal organization, and here, click on connect. Okay, you're moving the only instance of this project to your GitHub organization. This means the project will now be live on GitHub. Okay. Perfect. So now the project is live on GitHub. So we pushed the project directly into GitHub so we can like use the code and truly own the code here and maybe make some change directly without Lovable. So that's nice. Now let's see how we're doing. Up. Apparently we still have some problem. Okay. Now we're good to go. Now, did add my stock? Yes, we have our chatbots. Hey, what is NVIDIA? It's thinking. Failed to get response. Please try again. Let's go. So here we have a little problem. What we want to do again is go to /cloud and go in logs and see, okay, what's the actual problem here? What happened? I don't see any particular problem. And in terms of edge function, we have an edge function that's supposed to work. Yes, here. So here it's supposed to call this edge function, but we have a problem on this edge function. And it will give us the logs, yes. So the chatbot doesn't work because of this error I found in the logs. Now we'll let again the chatbot actually try to debug the system, but we already can see that's a pretty good design in my opinion. It makes sense with the rest of the website, so that's pretty cool. And we can see we have a security error here. What we're going to do is review. All users can see each other investment portfolios. Well, that's okay. That's okay in our case, because what we want to do is share my investment portfolio. It's not a personal investment portfolio management platform. It's for me to share my stock picks here so people can copy or take some inspiration out of it in order to build their own investment portfolio. So that's good. That's not even a problem for us. Oh, the stocks table is readable by any authenticated user due to policy. Authenticated user can view stocks. This exposes everyone's investment portfolio. Okay, so here in this case, that's pretty cool, honestly, that Lovable has this kind of errors. But here, what we want to do is make the stocks table readable only by people that have a subscription in their profile, because this isn't their stock portfolio, but a stock portfolio I share to all members, but only paying members should have access to this table. Okay, so now I'll first try again. Hey, what is NVIDIA? Okay, we can see something is appearing. Okay, we have the AI actually working. We could also here basically ask the chatbot to be better in terms of how it shows the thing, just because here it gives markdown but doesn't show the markdown. We can see like the double stars here. It shows this is markdown, but it doesn't show it correctly. We could ask, but like it's pretty easy. We just say, hey, we click edit and we say, hey, show markdown correctly, blah, 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 blah. This is not what we're going to do. I think you guys understood the overall way of using Lovable. What we want to do here is fixing this review thing. Okay, I have a security error here where the stocks table is available to every authenticated user. Okay, so knowing that, it should be able to fix this error. And once it will fix the error, we're going to click on update again. Here I'm going to update and try to fix that. But here we can see that Lovable is actually using SQL and database changes in order to fix the review, fix the security, which is pretty amazing. So let's continue that and back to the preview. So for a moment we have our stock portfolio, we have a little chat here for people that don't understand. It's pretty cool. Okay, so it's still scanning the security. Okay, so it scanned the security and we'll see if basically the review error went away.
A few moments later.
Hey guys, after a few minutes, now it actually looked at all the problems in the security and found no problem. The only problem it found was the fact that, let me come here, our chat is available only also if you're actually not authenticated. So you do not have an account, which is problematic or not really problematic. It depends on how you see it, just because people that are not authenticated can use your chat and burn all your AI credits. So that's not an enormous problem for two reasons, just because people cannot actually use the dashboard if they are not members, remember, and also because, well, I don't have user yet, so I'm not, it's not an enormous problem. But if I want user, what can I do is do the same kind of vibe marketing that we did here. Here we vibe code, and now we can vibe marketing using SEO, search engine optimization, for both Google, ChatGPT, and all the AI systems out there. So what we want to do, what I did just for you guys in order to follow you up on your vibe coding journey, is make an ultimate SEO checklist that you can check this out. So with this ultimate SEO checklist, you will be able to take your vibe coded app with Lovable, with Replit, and all these AI tools and actually make it findable on Google. You have all the different steps to follow in order to make it findable. Identify the keywords, use keywords tools, etc., etc. And here it's full resources on how you can find the words your audience actually use, what prompt they use, what keywords, see the volume for each one of them, how you can optimize the website with Lovable and all the AI tools, how you can then make Google and ChatGPT know you exist, etc., etc. This is the full checklist in order to make your vibe-coded app actually used by people in production and found by people that search for it. So if you're interested, you can have a link in the description. And I tell you guys bye-bye, because this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you liked it. You can comment, leave a like, and of course have the ultimate SEO checklist for 2025 in the description. See you guys.